I can't believe our first hit MIT. MJ, come on, pretend like you're not the happiest you've ever been in your entire life.
I can't.
I knew it!
Hi, my name is Peter Parker. You don't remember me, but we used to know each other. Something bad was going to happen, and the only way to stop it was to make everyone forget about me. Because I'm not just Peter Parker. I'm Spider-Man.
The hell, Frank? You just hit me with a van!
Quit your whimpering. Suit yourself. Mother.
Go home! And sometimes Spider-Man has to do the hard thing, even if it breaks Peter Parker's heart. What is happening to me?
Oh, God.
Excuse me, Dr. Banner. I need your help.
What did you say your name was?
If DNA is mutating,
It would be enormously dangerous.
Spiders have 3 life cycles. When between cycles, it can leave the spider vulnerable to threats.
We are faced with a danger that we can't control. One we can't even see. Stay out of my way.
you're losing it, kid.
And for those spiders who make it through, it amounts to a kind of rebirth.
Nice flowers.
Oh, they're, a housewarming gift.
I'm MJ.
I'm just a neighbor from across the hall.
Friendly neighbor.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel and Sony finally released the official Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer. There's a whole bunch of Easter eggs and references here and a lot of stuff they left out of the trailer, so we will break it all down. No big surprise that there are a lot of characters that they left out of this trailer that we know are in the movie. Marvel is famous for editing trailers in really misleading ways to try and avoid spoilers, so the real trick now is to try and decide which things Marvel are trying to hide in plain sight in this trailer. Whole lot of friendly neighborhood Spider-Man energy going on during the trailer here. Love the way they end that too. Friendly neighbor. But just starting at the beginning of the trailer and working our way through shot by shot, talking about Easter eggs and WTF moments. Love the way that they start the trailer with him sitting off angle, like the way they have it framed. He's actually sitting using his powers to stick to the beam here upside down. But he also starts the trailer narrating the letter that he's written to MJ and Ned Leeds to try and re-explain to them who he is and why he had their memories erased by Doctor Strange because of what happened during Spider-Man No Way Home.
You don't remember me, but we used to know each other.
It's basically another version of the letter that he tried to read to her that he wrote at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, but that he decided not to read to her at that time. It's kind of like he's been replaying that moment over and over again in the couple years time jump since the end of that movie. The way they explain is since the events of Spider-Man No Way Home, he has spent the entire time sublimating the Peter Parker part of his identity and just being Spider-Man 24/7, with the exception that he is also a student at Empire State University. That is what the ESU is, and we find out that Bruce Banner is a professor at that university. You also notice he's wearing his wristband that he had during She-Hulk that prevents him from hulking out. I'm assuming that he loses that at some point and something causes him to hulk out into Savage Hulk mode. When they start the trailer too, he's also watching a video on his phone from before Doctor Strange's memory spell wiped all their minds, and it's them learning that he was Peter Parker, being really happy to be on Team Spider-Man, so to speak. So you have to imagine that he's just been keeping all these videos of them on his phone, rewatching these all the time in his free time when he does have his limited free time. And we also obviously have to talk about the way they're filming him now with the practical suit and the way it looks when he pulls his mask on now. It's totally different from the way they use so much CG on his previous Spider-Man costumes. Now, like, a lot of this is CG, obviously, because he's not jumping off an actual building here, but it does look way more like an actual practical cloth suit than previous versions of the Spider-Man suit in the Marvel movies. Basically, the idea with the new version of his suit, the new version of the logo, is it's meant to look like a hybrid inspired by both Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man suit and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man suit. It's meant to be kind of like a fusion, a cloth version of those suits, using some leftover Stark tech from his suit, but at least for the most part, he's gotten rid of a lot of the technology. He has become, over the last couple of years, a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, more of a ground-level Spider-Man. You also notice this is a Sony movie, so that is why he is using a Sony phone for all this. Gotta get that brand synergy with the Spider-Man movies. Sony has done this in pretty much every single Spider-Man movie ever. When he starts falling into battle too, this also feels very Andrew Garfield, Amazing Spider-Man coded from the way they cut those trailers. They also started those trailers with some of these types of shots too. Speaking of which, we also have to talk about the filmography, the actual cinematography, and the new creative team on this new trilogy of Spider-Man movies, starting with Destin Daniel Cretton, the person who directed the Shang-Chi movie. He was also going to direct Avengers 5 when it was still Kang Dynasty. He's actually completely changed the way they film the Spider-Man movies. It looks so much better than the John Watts Spider-Man movies already so far. I'm actually really excited about this. He is going to make web slinging seem so much cooler than they did in the last couple of Spider-Man movies. Talk about major upgrades in Spider-Man filmography. We also get a number of fight scenes across the trailer too with different villains, different characters, and he's way more acrobatic. They also brought Jackie Chan's stunt team to do a lot of the stunts for this movie too. Because remember, he directed the Shang-Chi movie, so way more martial arts inspired type of Spider-Man in the way that he moves. Also, there's a lot of the hand characters in this as well too, so a lot of actual martial arts based characters from Marvel Comics as well. We will also unpack that in a second too, like that's not till a little bit later in the trailer. There are a number of Daredevil-related character things that are happening in this trailer, in addition to like the Punisher character coming from the Daredevil universe. And when I say Daredevil universe, I'm just talking about the Daredevil show. Technically, it's all the same Marvel Cinematic Universe. Speaking of which, talking about Daredevil, we're getting ready for Daredevil Born Again Season 2 episodes. That's meant to take place right before the events of this movie. So maybe this is why they're giving Spider-Man the key to the city during the actual trailer, because he does something after Kingpin is done with his mayor arc. One of the other new filmography techniques is they're filming a scene of Spider-Man falling through the air, like swinging through the air into battle while you're inside the actual mask itself, like you're seeing his eyes inside the mask while he's flying through the air. I think this is the first time that we've actually put the camera in this place in a Spider-Man movie. You can kind of see the reflection of the ground rushing up to meet him in his eyeball here too. They were probably really proud of the way they filmed this scene. We get another shot of him inside that same apartment that he had at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, rereading the letter that he wrote to them during Spider-Man No Way Home. It's basically the exact same letter that he's just been carrying around this whole time. This kind of seems like the bodega shop near where he lives, and Ned Leeds also just happens to live in this area too and comes here. But it's not meant to be the exact same place that MJ was working in Spider-Man No Way Home, like it's a completely different place. You can kind of tell that he sees Ned Leeds and MJ pretty regularly when they're in town, but it's not totally clear when this actually takes place because they were supposed to be going to MIT at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, so maybe this is during a break when they're away from school. The only thing throwing some water on that is the fact that there's a lecture that Bruce Banner is in the middle of at Empire State University, and Spider-Man is in the middle of class when he goes to talk to him. Maybe they're on break from MIT, but Spider-Man is not on break from ESU. You also remember that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Spider-Man in the comics went to Empire State University. That's why they're doing Empire State University in the MCU now. We see him just doing casual, daily things in between acting as Spider-Man, saving people, like he's washing his Spider-Man suit literally because it's made out of cloth. You also notice all the bruises all over his body too from all of his fights. Do not worry, he heals faster than normal. His healing factor isn't like as powerful as Wolverine and Deadpool's, but he still heals faster than a normal person.
Let's see you grow your head back.
We start to hear more of what's actually in his letter, where he's basically explaining the plot of Spider-Man No Way Home, like something bad was going to happen, so I had to erase everybody's memories. All these other realities were crashing into our reality. It was going to destroy the entire universe again. When we see him getting the key to the city, this is Lindsay Colin-Zayas' character. She might be the new mayor of New York City after Kingpin. We also see that it's Ned Leeds and MJ together watching the actual broadcast in her apartment. That's kind of the way they're making this seem, like she has an apartment that's like right near his apartment. How convenient, or maybe it's somewhere near his. Is not really clear what's going on at that party later. Like, is the party happening inside her apartment, and does she live literally right across the hallway from him? That would be extremely convenient. You also kind of wonder about the red tinge in her hair too, like they're making her look more and more like comic book MJ. When he reads the part, I am Spider-Man, they play a little bit of the actual Spider-Man theme song as we see some of the tank fight that we got all the behind the scenes for earlier last year. This is part of the larger Punisher chase scene, and we get more context for what's happening in the scene. It's actually just like a regular person that's operating the tank that has been mind-controlled while the Punisher is chasing that person in his Punisher van. And I love the way that when Spider-Man attaches himself to the car, this is also very Andrew Garfield, Amazing Spider-Man. He almost got hit by a car too. When he grabs onto the front of the car, notice that Spider-Man calls him Frank, in the way that Frank talks to Spider-Man as if they've known each other for a little while. Absolutely love the way the Punisher reacts to him too, firing his gun no matter what, like, oh, suit yourself, boom, fires the gun on him. You also notice the Punisher has a new skull logo on his chest. I believe he's meant to get that during the Punisher special presentation, but they haven't revealed when they're going to release it, only that it'll be after Daredevil Born Again Season 2. I'm kind of assuming now they're going to release it before Spider-Man Brand New Day, but we'll see. That is going to be a completely different story. Spider-Man won't appear in that, and Daredevil's not supposed to be in that either. We get a new scene of him inside MJ's apartment, inside a house party that she's having in her apartment, and she's got a new boyfriend. Most of you probably recognize him. It's Amon Esfandi, Ezra Bridger from the live-action Ahsoka series. And he's kind of giving some Paul PTSD vibes from the Spider-Man comics, like one of the most hated Spider-Man characters ever, the person that MJ in the comics gets with briefly in the more recent comics. I hope he is prepared to be one of the most hated Spider-Man movie characters now. Everybody boo this person. We get a real quick time jump after something else has happened, and it seems like he passes out and goes into a cocoon and comes out beginning to evolve like he did in the comics with more powers. Really does feel like they might try to give him organic web shooters or some extra powers beyond this too for this next trilogy. Don't you just want to see the holes? We're all like Andrew Garfield, Amazing Spider-Man now. We just want to see the holes. Him also waking up with the webbing all over his apartment is giving a lot of Tobey Maguire Spider-Man vibes too when he first got his powers. This actual shot of him ripping his way out of the cocoon outside hanging upside down is also right out of the comics too. This was also part of that arc in the comics where they were doing all the spider totems. I do not think they're going to go full spider totems in this new Spider-Man movie. We get another real quick scene of him being scanned by Bruce Banner to find out what's going on with him. Notice there's like some gamma readouts on the display here. We get a really quick readout of him after he's come out of the cocoon, and it just shows like all of his enhanced abilities, like all things that would read if you scan someone like Captain America, for instance. We get the confirmation that Bruce Banner is a professor working at Empire State University now. This is set after the events of the She-Hulk series, so like he's wearing the band again to prevent him from hulking out, assuming that something happens to that band, and that's what causes him to hulk out in this movie. There's also a couple other clues about what's happening with that too, with some of the other characters later in the trailer.
And I'm a huge fan of the way you lose control and turn into an enormous green rage monster.
Zoom in and enhance in his lecture here on the board behind him. I like how it's green coded, like green for Hulk coded, but it reads lattice quantum chromodynamics, so I'm assuming this has something to do with the overall plot of the actual movie. It is an actual real-life scientific theory that has to do with the nature of space-time, so it could be something multiverse-related, something building into Avengers Doomsday, or explain how characters from other universes wind up in this movie, if there are characters from other universes in the movie. You just have to remember that this is the last movie coming out before Avengers Doomsday, so there might be like a tiny bit of multiverse-related stuff in the background. You also remember that because he is Bruce Banner, his mind was wiped, but Doctor Strange's spells, his magic, don't work on the Hulk's mind the same way, so the Hulk remembers Peter Parker as Spider-Man, but Bruce Banner does not, which is why he has to introduce himself like, what did you say your name was again? Oh, Peter Parker, who's that? There's a real quick moment where it seems like he's trying to get used to his new enhanced powers, like the extra powers that he gets after coming out of the cocoon and evolving. He makes a real sly reference to mutating DNA, which is a reference to him in his gamma DNA mutating into the Hulk being really dangerous. Like, oh yeah, real dangerous if you're going to be mutating with your DNA. I also kind of think this is a sly wink at the idea of mutants and X-Men with Sadie Sink's character, because there's a character later in the trailer who is jumping from mind to mind controlling people, like there's a regular woman, like an old woman, operating this really advanced tank who is very clearly being mind controlled. My early theory is that it is Sadie Sink's psychic-powered character who is manipulating her, lending some credence to the idea that she might be playing a version of Jean Grey in the movie. Then the scene of Spider-Man trying to web someone up and getting flung really far in the distance, I think is actually meant to be the Hulk just throwing him, like it's Hulk's strength throwing him with his webbing off into the distance. We get a real quick scene of him visiting Aunt May's grave, R.I.P. Then if you couldn't tell, there's actually a voiceover about the evolution of spiders in 3 different stages, like the life cycle of spiders, and it's actually Keith David, but I don't think we know who he's playing. It just sounds just like Keith David. When we're in the center of this room and there's someone in green being locked down, I think this person in the chair is actually Sadie Sink's character, and the green is meant to be a reference to Jean Grey's green costume from the comics, her X-Men costume. I think the idea that this explosion here is meant to be happening at a damage control prison, because there are a couple scenes of Spider-Man with the tank inside all these explosions inside the damage control prison. So maybe it's actually Sadie Sink's character trying to rescue herself using her powers. Part of the idea is that we saw some behind the scenes of Sadie Sink being captured by damage control and stuck in the back of a truck. So I think at some point they capture her in the film and put her in some prison, so they have to break her out some way, and this is part of the reason why that happens. We get that really quick scene of him inside the damage control prison with the person jumping from mind to mind, from the different guards to the different person that was inside the tank. Like I said, it sounds like a psychic person, which is why I think it's very Jean Grey coded. We get a real quick scene of Tremel Tillman's William Metzger character. He is also from the X-Men comics and was very much a part of a lot of those X-Men stories. Then this person shrugging in green with the yellow hoodie, I think is also meant to be Sadie Sink's character. The yellow and green, I think, meant to be Jean Grey comic book costume coded. We get our first look at Scorpion in his comic book accurate mechanical suit fighting Spider-Man. Finally paying off that post-credit scene from Spider-Man Homecoming. Wonder who gave him this costume, though. We get a real quick scene of him with the Punisher saying that he's losing it. They might be working against each other or with each other. Part of the idea, I think, is that in a lot of classic team-ups, they are at odds with each other at the beginning of the story, but then eventually wind up helping each other.
I'll tell you what I think.
I'll tell you why.
Well, let me tell you something. But I can also tell you.
We get a really quick scene of him in costume with MJ, and it seems like he's about to tell her that he is Peter Parker, but what they might wind up doing is a twist on that, and she just figures out that he's Peter Parker on her own again, the way that she did the first time. Like, she figured out herself before he told her. We get a little more of that tank bite scene they were filming earlier last year that we got all the behind-the-scenes footage for. More Keith David voiceover talking about the evolution of spiders who do survive their transformations. Everybody probably recognizes this shot too. This is like directly meant to be a parallel for the cover of Amazing Fantasy number 15, the very first appearance of Spider-Man in the comics. There's a real quick shot of him fighting a couple other villains too. This one is Boomerang, another classic Spider-Man comic book villain. This one is meant to be Tarantula, and it's also meant to be a parallel to another comic book cover. And another shot of him inside a damage control prison, it seems like, fighting a bunch of hand ninjas. And the question is who hired them? Who is the actual main villain of this movie? Is it going to be Tombstone, or will it be someone else? Like, does Tombstone just hire the hand? And we see him activate one of his new powers where his eyes go red, and it seems like he's more powerful now the way he uses this webbing against all of their gear. When he ends the trailer with him flying at the ninjas and them talking about rebirth, that's also meant to be the vibe of this new era of the Spider-Man trilogy. Like Spider-Man 4, 5, and 6 is meant to be a rebirth creatively of the character, but also in the context of the story, reborn with even more powers. And we get that funny tag scene of MJ doing a reference to him being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, big comic book reference. It also kind of looks like her hair is a little bit redder too. You also notice that she is clocking that there are Spider-Man pictures all over his wall. Like, this is curious. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below, and if there's anything that you think you spotted in the trailer that I didn't talk about during the video, or Easter eggs or references or hidden characters or details, just write them below in the comments. There's going to be a bunch of other big stuff happening in the next couple of weeks. We have brand new Daredevil Born Again episodes next week, more Spider-Man Brand New Day teasers over the next couple of months, as well as Invincible Season 4 episodes and The Boys Season 5 episodes happening really soon too. So we will be eating good for the next couple of months. Make sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss any of those videos or those episodes. Everybody click here for all my Spider-Man Brand New Day videos, and click here for all my Avengers Doomsday trailer videos too. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.